Well, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, it is November 14 in Australia and November 13 in America, 2024. So it's the 50th anniversary of the original murders in Amityville. That in part inspired the Amityville horror and that whole franchise and legacy and mythology. And I did just want to talk about the actual family, the actual people who were killed in the beginning, because it's easy to forget them. Now, I've been a fan my whole life. I grew up with Amityville. I saw the first film on TV and the second film on video at my sister's. I'm not sure which order because they were 2 years apart in production, and I'm not sure the first film would have been on TV before the second film was on video. But I saw them around the same time. I was very young and I just became obsessed with the house. And one of my most prized possessions is my Amityville box sets, the DVD one, and of course the Vinegar Syndrome one, which has the 4 direct-to-video sequels that came after Amityville 3 that fortunately were filmed on film, so they've been scanned, remastered and cropped to 16:9, and they're just amazing to watch from Vinegar Syndrome. I love them. And of course the box sitting on my bookshelf looks like a little Amityville house. So it's very easy to get caught up in that and not really think about, real people actually were murdered. Ron Defeo killed all 6 members of his family, other 6 members of his family. One by one, he went around with a very loud rifle and shot them all, and no one got up, no one moved, no one tried to run, no one tried to fight back. And I find that the most terrifying element. A lot of people have depicted that murder scene, and it's always different. They're either waking up and being chased and running around, or they're at a dinner table, or the ghost girl from the remake, just because the Ring had a ghost girl, so they had Jodie or whoever was the last child, hiding in a closet and the last to be killed, so then she ended up being a spirit when the others didn't, and it takes away from the actual mystery and fear of, like, why did none of these people get up? Why did they not wake up? Why did they not react? Why did they not defend themselves? How did he kill 6 people in a house with a loud rifle like that? And was he possessed? He believed he was. I believe he believed he was. Now, whether that's because he was on a lot of drugs, maybe he saw something in the house and convinced himself that it affected him, or maybe it really did, because I have had some paranormal experiences and I know there is more to that than the skeptics will have you believe. They need to try and explain it so they can feel okay with not actually knowing how the universe and the world and all the dimensions and realities and everything work, because it's not just us right here, right? There's more, and they can't handle that, so they have to just go to any extreme to explain things away and dismiss things. So so it's just, I just find the original mystery scary enough. I don't need it to be over dramatized, and I think it takes away from it. And it's just that's sad that these people were killed. The whole family was wiped out in one go. They had relatives who had to live without them and go through then them being put in films and having that version of them, and misconceptions and so forth. And it's just interesting because, like, I just heard today for an interview with someone that apparently, and it's in one of the books I haven't read, they actually were suggesting back in the day that Ron and Dawn had some sort of inappropriate, relationship as brother and sister. And I thought that was something Tommy Lee Wallace just added because he wanted to make a horror film and he wanted to do something, shocking, controversial. But he actually read this back in the day and he was inspired by the actual case. I never realised that. I thought it was just something that people added onto it or made up, so now I need to go do some more reading, because back in the day, all we had was the videos, and the books. And there's a whole bunch of them, mostly by John G. Jones, who took over after Jay Anson, Hans Holzer, and obviously, like, the film adaptions are just random novelists and that. But they're mostly trying to tell the story and the continuing story of the family. But then Hans Holzer and John G. Jones both did, like, fictional versions along with people like Robin Carl. So we had that, and then the internet came along and websites cropped up and had people telling their version of the story, their interpretation, and some people actually uncovered genuine facts and interesting things we didn't know. And this story and this legacy mythology has grown and changed over the decades that I've been a fan and watching it. And it's just sort of fascinating to see now how people coming into it are looking at it and what they see it as and view it as opposed to someone who's there sort of near the beginning and has watched the whole thing sort of just develop in the media and then in fan circles and then horror conventions and then the internet. And it's just curious. I just want to talk about that for a minute, just the sort of whole thing, and just sort of remind people that it is a real family in amongst all of this sort of being lost. And like I've sort of done it in this video, even though I've tried